On this edition of Let's Talk Cincy, award-winning actress and Cincinnati's own Kiki Layne returns to the Queen City to talk one-on-one with Curtis Fuller about her new film, Dandelion, and so much more.
Dandelion follows the journey of an aspiring singer-songwriter from Cincinnati. It follows her journey of pursuing the arts.
From WLWT, this is Let's Talk Cincy, presented by Western and Southern Financial Group. Put our financial strength behind you.
Hello everyone, I'm Curtis Fuller and welcome to Let's Talk Cincy. We have a special show for you today. The star of many films that you are familiar with, and she has a new film out, Cincinnati's own Kiki Layne. And first of all, welcome to the program. It is good to see you.
It's so good to see you. Thank you for having me.
I have known you for many, many years
Yes.
and have seen this rise to fame. Why don't you give people some of the background growing up here in Cincinnati?
Yeah, I mean, this is my hometown. I went to the School for Creative and Performing Arts, which is where my love of acting and the arts, first started, and that's where it started to be nurtured. And I just kept going from there. But Cincinnati's home, and it feels good to be bringing a Cincinnati film back here.
When you were studying up in Chicago, that's where you went to school.
Yes.
Is that where it really kicked in, that this is what you were going to do as a career?
No, I really think it started here. Those early classes at SCPA, and I just really felt like this is what I want to do, and so that's why I was able to continue to study at DePaul in Chicago. But it all started right here in Cincinnati.
I hope that nobody has ever had to look at anybody they love through glass.
If Beale Street Could Talk sort of took you to another level.
Yes.
Talk about that film and its significance and what it meant to you.
Well, Beale Street, that's my big break. That was, Barry Jenkins took a chance on a no-name actress from Cincinnati, and it completely changed my life. I feel like Beale Street is the root of my film career, I'll say. And to be able to work with such incredible artists, such as Barry, Regina King, Coleman Domingo, it's life-changing. I learned so much, and I don't know, it's kind of like such an honor that that's where my career began, with Barry Jenkins and James Baldwin.
And everyone recognized your talent in that film. You were recognized as a supporting actress, but everyone said you dominated that film in many ways.
Thank you. Like I said, just such an honor and a blessing to be a part of that ensemble and to work with these incredible artists and just learn so much and to feel so taken care of by everyone that I was working with. I couldn't imagine a better start to things.
And the next thing, we see you in this different role with Eddie Murphy.
Very different, yes.
Coming to America too, where it looked like you had a lot of fun in that movie.
Of course, that felt like being invited to a family reunion. All of the actors from the first Coming to America coming back together, getting back into those characters that we love so much, and to be a part of that, I had the best time. There's nothing else that you could do when you're surrounded by, comedic greats like that.
Let's fast forward to now. You have this new film out called Dandelion. Some of it's shot here in Greater Cincinnati.
Yep.
In Northern Kentucky. Talk a little bit about this film.
Dandelion follows the journey of an aspiring singer-songwriter from Cincinnati, which was amazing. I'm like, wow, she's from Cincinnati, I'm from Cincinnati, meant to be. But it follows her journey of pursuing the arts. The artists, we go through so much as artists, and this film really explores a lot of the things that artists wrestle with and struggle with as we pursue to do the thing we love most in the world that doesn't always, love us back in the same way.
If I work a 9 to 5, it's gonna take away the time that I have to make my music, to build my fan base, to gain some recognition.
From who? Who's recognizing you here?
Every dollar I make is from my music opportunities.
Where?
You know that means everything to me.
What music opportunities?
I sing every day. I make music every day.
Let me read something. You've probably seen this, but this is from the New York Times review. It said, Dandelion is a film in an artful way that tunes into sensations and feelings, not just at moments of outright drama. It goes on to say, but also the many notes in between. In the end, Dandelion feels like one artist's emotional feeling, leaving us wishing for even more. That's pretty good.
I mean, whew. That's amazing. Thank you, New York Times. No, I think that was one of our goals. You know, reading the script and talking to our director, Nicole, we wanted people to really, I don't know, be able to feel a bit more on the inside of the artist's mind and spirit. And I think that that's something that this film does that's unique in comparison to other films that follow singers and songwriters. You know, this isn't the journey of someone who started and they're, you know, a no name and then they become the biggest pop star on the planet, because for the majority of us pursuing the arts, that's not what it's going to be. So it really gets into, I don't know, a more truthful exploration of like what's really inside of an artist's heart and spirit. And so, you know, hearing a review like that lets us know like, whew, okay, sounds like we did it.
Hey, I want to take a break, and then when we come back, I want to talk a little bit more about this film, obviously. And how do you select the roles that you eventually take? I've always been curious about that. So, all right, we're going to take a break, and we'll be back in a moment. Welcome back, everyone. With me is the star of the new film called Dandelion, Cincinnati's own KiKi Layne. We were talking about the film. I wanted to ask you, how do you select the roles? I'm certain you are asked to do various roles, but some you have to say yes to, some you say no to.
Right. You know, I think I don't know, I kind of just check in with my spirit. Is there something about the role in the film as a whole that just excites something on the inside? Sometimes I feel that it's like exciting the little black girl that still is in me of, you know, things that I wish that I had seen, you know, someone who looks like me being a part of growing up, and the opportunity to be that for, you know, little black girls who are going to see me. I think that's a big part of it. And also just like having fun. I've wanted to do this since I was 7. And so sometimes, you know, like take Rescue Rangers, it's just fun to run around with Chip and Dale. Like, so yeah, it varies, but usually it's one of those things that gets me excited.
A reality in Hollywood or New York is the role for African American men and women. Have you found that to be a challenge?
Oh, definitely. It can be very frustrating to just feel that there's not as many opportunities that really feel exciting and that really feel like opportunities for my craft to truly shine. You know, it's a tough industry. You know, this industry likes to be very repetitive with who they cast, and that can be very frustrating. You know, there's so many great artists out there that just aren't given the chance. And so for me to, you know, have had an opportunity, like we were talking about Beale Street earlier, right, you know, being cast as someone, you know, no name, no credits, was massive, and it's not always how the industry works. And so I feel very blessed because of that. But, you know, absolutely. But I think in so many careers, people can be like, you know, just that frustration.
I think the first time I saw you was on TV. You were on Chicago Med or
Yes.
something like that. And I look up and I said, I know who that is. And
Yes.
it wasn't a huge role, but again, you commanded
Thank you.
the screen, even in that particular role.
Oh, Oh, wow, thank you. Yeah, that was my first TV credit, a little Chicago Med episode. You know, that's the Chicago artists. We have to, you know, find our way in the Chicagoland TV show. So that was pretty cool.
And then some of these action roles that you've played, it appears that you enjoy those and that you're having fun.
Yes.
You know, Beale Street, Dandelions, all of those are very nice. I'm certain you enjoy those too, but acting is having fun, as you said, and doing something that you might not normally do.
When I find projects that allow me to, you know, live in that while also being challenged in interesting ways, like you bringing up the action projects, The Old Guard was so much fun, but it was also very challenging in a new way physically, but that's exciting when you know this thing that you love presents new challenges for you to, you know, conquer. But for sure, I love action.
After seeing Old Guard, I said, I'm going to really be nice to her from now on. Back to Dandelion. This was an independent film.
Yes.
So this is, for those watching, this is night and day from something like
very much
Coming
so.
to America too, in terms of budget, in terms of time.
Yes.
Talk about the difference of those type of films.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's a certain luxury that comes with, you know, a big project like Coming to America or The Old Guard, where there's just a lot more money and a lot more resources. So one of the things working on a small independent film like Dandelion, you just don't have as many resources, which could translate into maybe not having as many crew members or just, you know, certain things that these bigger projects are able to provide. But I think it ultimately becomes, on these smaller projects, you know, the need to truly be open and collaborative becomes that much more important. And so I think that's one of the things I love, though, about working on smaller budget films is that, you know, everyone really just has to come together and, you know, just be like, okay, we got to get this thing done. We don't have, you know, all the millions and millions of dollars. So, like, what can we do? How can we dig deeper? How can we be better collaborators to make it happen?
Your family has been supportive from day one, obviously.
Yes.
You did a special screening with the family. The movie premiered July 12th, but then here in Cincinnati, you did a premiere with them.
Yes.
Talk about family support and how much that's been.
I mean, it's everything for me to have been able to, you know, say at such a young age, like, Mommy, I want to be a singer and an actress, and she immediately follows it up with the audition packet for SCPA. You know, I feel very blessed to have always had that type of support, and from my entire family. So even, you know, prior to the film starting at the family screening on Sunday, I did an introduction, and I honestly got emotional as I looked out into the audience and I saw so many of my family members there to support me, and just, you know, being able to look at all of them and just say, thank you so much. You know, I'm up here premiering a film that I'm the lead of because of all of you. You know, these are aunties and uncles and cousins who came to see shows at SCPA, who drove up to Chicago to support me in shows while I was in college and helped us financially when we needed it. So I feel so blessed, you know, to have the family that I have and to be able to just share these milestones in my career with them.
I'm glad we're able to share it too. We're going to take a break and come back. And I want to find out, when's the last time you were down at SCPA and a few other things like that. All right. We're going to take a break. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Curtis Fuller, here with me, KiKi Layne. Actress, well known for many roles she's performed in. Originally from Cincinnati, School for Creative and Performing Arts. I was curious, how much of Cincinnati stays with you in terms of when you, I know obviously in Dandelion because some of it's filmed here. Cincinnati
goes with me everywhere, you know. I'm always going to be a Bengals fan, Who Dey, no matter where I go or how much time I spend anywhere else. You know, I believe in putting chili on spaghetti with a heaping pile of cheese on top of it. So there's just certain things, you know, that it's just always going to be with me. And this is the place that first started to nurture my dreams. And so I try to stay connected. You know, I don't like to spend too much time without coming back to see my family, or even trying to go back and speak to students at SCPA. Like, I still have relationships with some of my teachers there. Like, one of my teachers was at the screening on Sunday. So, you know, that's very important to me to stay connected and to continue to nurture young artists here. Like, even on Sunday, I hired like a 19-year-old student from Xavier to take pictures like during the screening. So just little things like that. If you have a dream, if there's something that brings you joy, that lights you up on the inside, you have to pursue that thing. Because I mean, if you don't, then you're setting yourself up for, I feel, a lot of frustration and sadness maybe with like the what ifs and all of that. And so I always try to encourage people to go for it, because then you can, no matter what happens, you know, I would never want to live my life and have the what if of like, what if I had gone after that dream? What if I had tried to pursue that in a more serious way? You know, I think the pursuit, even if you don't necessarily get all the things that you may have wanted, there's still joy in going after it.
Mm-hmm. The sacrifice too. Mm-hmm. I mean, people don't, it might look glamorous,
yeah.
but there are a lot of sacrifices, and by the time you get to the level that you are now, what you have had to sacrifice, and you know, taking maybe a bit role here, or people don't see that.
We all have to pay our dues, you know, and that's just part of, I think, pursuing any dream, any career. It definitely has its ups and downs, you know, even at this point in my career, like there's still, you know, there's these great highs, and then there's also, you know, very real lows. And I think it's important to be honest about that. I'm sure you know, have had your own experiences with that, of like, yes, here you are on TV, but no one knows the things that you're battling, or the things that, you know, might have you questioning, like, how did I even get here? You know, the imposter syndrome and all of that. So I just, when those moments come, and sometimes it's easier, you know, to do it, and sometimes it's harder, to just reconnect to the joy of it, reconnect to, you know, the light that it puts in my spirit when I'm acting, when I'm telling a story, when I'm inside of a role, and just being creative and nurturing that. But yeah, it has its ups and downs, and it's a fight, and no, it is not always glamorous, but I love it. And as long as I continue to love it, then I got to keep going.
It's interesting that you mentioned the imposter syndrome. I had never really thought about it that way, but you are the second person in maybe a week that described this, and very successful people. And we shared this conversation of, it's one thing to receive accolades, but at some point you start to say, wow, why me, you know? Yeah,
I think especially when pursuing something where you know that there's so many other people who are pursuing it as well, and are not quite, I don't know, cracking the success in the way that you are. Yeah, there's moments where it does feel like, oof, like how did I do this? Or I think for me, I more so struggle with the question of like, can I still keep going to really get all of the things that I want, which is like such an interesting mind game that starts to happen of, I have accomplished so much, I am living in so many blessings, and then there's the part of me that's like, well, there's no way that I could possibly get more than this, you know, like I can't actually be like that good, or, you know, so yeah, those types of questions, those type of internal mind struggles, they definitely come and go, and I'm just learning to find ways when that negativity starts to creep in, when the doubt starts to creep in, when the questions of, am I good enough? Do I deserve it? Can I get all the things that I dream of? Just finding ways to bring myself back to the joy, and bring myself back to the trust of, I wasn't brought this far for that to just be it. And if I can look back on my life and where I've come from and see where I am, then that should encourage me that I can continue to go further and further, you know. just tell people God's not done with me yet.
No, he's not. And many of us have known that you were that good for a long time.
Thank you.
I want to take a final break and then talk about what's next for KiKi Layne.
Okay.
All right. Back in a moment. Our final segment with KiKi Layne. This is not the first time I've interviewed you.
Nope.
Many, many, many years ago, when you were just a teenager,
Yeah.
I did an interview with you. And at that time, you were talking about your dreams and aspirations. And so fast forward now, what are the dreams and aspirations of KiKi Layne now?
To continue to be a great representation of Black women in the arts, continuing to, knock down as many doors as I possibly can. On this film, Dandelion, I was an executive producer for the first time, and so wanting to produce a lot more and be on that side of the table, just to have more control over how our stories are being told and how we're being represented. And just to continue to live in joy and happiness, and I don't know. Yeah, I think that's where my dreams are kind of at right now.
What about the stage? Because SCPA does a lot of stage theater. Thoughts about that?
I love theater, and I definitely want to do more of it. I got to do an off-Broadway production at New York Theater Workshop. I think that was that 21 or 22, and that felt really good to get back on stage. Also a little scary because it had been so many years since I had been on stage. But I don't know, when you're on stage and you're in the moment with the audience right there, there's something so special about that. So I definitely want more opportunities for that, and yeah, I want to win a Tony or two. So
that would be great. I'd love to see you do one of August Wilson's productions.
That would be amazing. Yeah, that would be amazing. That's actually Joe Turner's Come and Gone is one of my favorite productions that I was a part of during high school. So I would love to be a part of an August Wilson play.
Yeah. Well, thank you for doing this. Dandelion, as I said, came out July 12th. It is in theaters. Go out and see it. Support Cincinnati's own KiKi Layne. And it is always good to see you. I don't get a chance to see you that often, but it is great seeing you.
Yes.
And good luck in the future.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, that does it for the program today. Thanks for joining us. I'm Curtis Fuller. I'll see you next time for another edition of Let's Talk Cincy.